Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the priority section of the Delhi-Ghaziabad-Meerut rapid rail transit system corridor at Sahibabad, RAPIDX in Uttar Pradesh on the 20th of October, which is tomorrow. He will also flag off the RAPIDX train connecting Sahibabad to the Duhai Depot, marking the launch of the RRTS in India. The 17-kilometer priority section of the Delhi-Ghaziabad-Meerut RRTS corridor that will be inaugurated will connect Sahibabad to the Duhai Depot with stations at Ghaziabad, Guldhar and Duhan on the way. The foundation stone for the Delhi-Ghaziabad-Meerut corridor was laid by the Prime Minister in 2019 with a design speed of 180 kilometers per hour. The RRTS is a transformational regional development initiative which is designed to provide high-speed trains for intercity commuting every 15 minutes, which can go up to a frequency of every 5 minutes as per requirement. In the next 30 minutes, we will discuss the transformation of the Indian Railways. There is rapid progress in Indian Railway system and it is happening very quickly. Joining us on the show is Mr. Anil Tiwari. He's a railway sector expert. Also with us on the show is Ramakrishnan TS, railway expert, head of the ABB Global Industries and Services Limited. Sadanand Pawar, senior design expert, SVA Corporation, also joins us on the show. Dr. Jayjeet Bhattacharya, president for the Center for Digital Economy Policy Research, also joins us on the show. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm going to in fact take in your thoughts and suggestions and your perspective on this development one by one. Mr. Tiwari, I'll begin with you, sir. I hope you can hear me. Mr. Tiwari, if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Mr. Tiwari, the Indian Railways have gone through a major transformation in the last few years. Right from the Vande Bharat Express to the modernization of the railway stations in our country. It has been on an exploration as well as a modernization mode for a very long time. The metro has been here for quite some time, but the RRTS, what kind of a feather is this in our illustrious hat of our vast railway network?
No doubt it is very important system. RRTS is very important system. But the fact of the day, we are in very premature stage. Only 17 kilometers are going to be operational from tomorrow. It is very short system. So it will be very early to say about what is its impact. Actually, I am very much uncomfortable in English. Can I speak in Hindi?
Sure, sir.
हाँ, तो देखिए हम लोग बहुत ही प्री मैच्योर स्टेज में हैं। अगर आरआरटीएस की अगर आप बात करें तो ये एक हाई स्पीड सिस्टम है। इसकी प्लानिंग 2005 से चल रही थी। आफ्टर 17 इयर्स हम लोग सिर्फ 17 किलोमीटर उसको बना पाए। तो ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा इश्यू है। और सेकेंडली जो इसके साथ में मेजर इश्यू ये है कि आप जिस सेक्टर को टारगेट कर रहे हैं वो अगर 17 किलोमीटर का एक पैच शुरू हो रहा है तो उसमें वो उससे कितना अट्रैक्ट होगा, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। क्योंकि जो कार यूज करते हैं वो लोग इसके तरफ आकर्षित होने चाहिए। बट जब तक ये पॉइंट टू पॉइंट सर्विस नहीं होगी तब तक इसके इफेक्टिवनेस और इसका सक्सेस दोनों पर डाउट रहेगा। तो इसकी स्पीड जो कंस्ट्रक्शन कर रहे हैं 17 इयर्स में 17 किलोमीटर, क्योंकि 2005 में प्लानिंग कमीशन ने इसको प्लान करना शुरू किया था और 8 सिस्टम के ऊपर बात हुई थी नेशनल कैपिटल रीजन की, उसमें से तीन को प्रायोरिटी पे रखा था। तो ये स्पीड बहुत स्लो है, नो डाउट ये बहुत एक सक्सेसफुल एक स्टेप है, बट ये बहुत ही हम लोग इसमें बहुत ही पिछड़े हुए हैं। बहुत स्लो स्पीड से, हाई स्पीड को ट्रेन सिस्टम को बहुत स्लो स्पीड से बना है।
बिल्कुल ठीक फरमाया आपने। मिस्टर रामकृष्ण टीएस, Mr. Ramakrishnan? All right. Mr. Pawar, if I can come to you, sir.
Yeah.
So, your thoughts and what do you make of, this new addition? And, apart from the obvious that it's going to be facilitating the common man from getting to A to B and, also decongest the roads that need expansion in our country, how important is the RRTS in this time and age?
I would say there are three basic elements for any economic development. The way Mr. Tiwari said, it was started in 2005. Nevertheless, somewhere down the line, we have taken steps to start this initiative. Although the patch may look like 17 kilometers at the moment, but sooner or later, its development is going to be surely happening the way our road minister, Nitinji Gadkari ji, the way he is driving the entire infrastructure in terms of road. Same way, I'm sure the ministry from the railway authorities would also drive this initiative. Now, आज के दिन में it is just 17. I'm sure it would be 170. And the most important thing is the places like NCR, what we call it as, there are 3 different states joining this particular belt. There is a heavy traffic congestion, and that, as you rightly said, will get decongestion because of this. 17 is the too small patch to control on the traffic zone as such, but sooner or later, the kind of a speed which is expected, that has to be extraordinarily fast, because we are the second largest network of rails in the world, and we have to cope up with the new technologies. It could be a part of AI or a super technology which is on a battery, or maybe it's lithium, maybe it's solar. There are various options on it.
Okay. Dr. Bhattacharya? Dr. Bhattacharya, if you're there with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Well, yes. Well, it's not going to end over here. The Gati Shakti 2.0, the fact that the government wants the common man to have facilities of transportation which are available in Europe or the Western nations at this point in time, is not only going to be beneficial for the common man, but it also is indicative of how fast an economy can grow.
Absolutely, and economy grows on the back of technology. Now, if you look at the technology which existed till let's say 2015, 2016, that was, if I can say, fit for transporting cattle. Under the excuse of not having enough resources, we had very poor technology. Our people used to, travel at slow speed, at very high discomfort. Now, all of that is changing. If we are adopting a semi-high-speed rail set, which is the RRTS, I think along with Vande Bharat, these are 2 train sets which are going to revolutionize how we transport people within India. And, this is the second more significant train set that is being adopted, which is a significant technology change that's happening. Also, keep in mind that we are now moving towards enhanced electrification of transportation. This entire train set is working on electricity. So we don't need to actually move into, that many electric vehicles in that sense. We can remove IC engines, therefore reduce pollution, and move towards a greater electrification. Also, one must appreciate the economic impact area that it's going to have. In this entire stretch, the real estate prices will go up. It'll be easier for people to commute and work in these areas, which was not the case earlier. That 17-kilometer stretch that's being talked about, this train is going to complete it and cover that distance in about 15 to 20 minutes. That same distance takes about an hour right now, if not more. If you look at, let's say, the travel from South Delhi to Gurgaon, that's also a 20-kilometer stretch.
And Mr. Bhattacharya, it's also likely to reduce the use of private vehicles to the tune of 1 lakh.
Absolutely, and that has significant impact on the pollution, on what the Delhiites suffer during winters. All of that will get mitigated with this kind of a technology, and I think along with it, we also need to improve on the processes around such a enhancement of technology. And processes means how will the cabs come and do the evacuation of people from the stations, what are the pod-based transportation that we need to have. It should not be a repeat of the metros that we used to have earlier on, where the metros would stop, but there would be no transportation from the metros to wherever the last mile would finish. So I think those are issues that needs to be looked at, and obviously it's an evolutionary process. Also, the actual construction of this project started in 2019. Before that, there was a lot of to and fro going on in planning. So within 14 years, we have been able to come up with this, this stretch of modern railway. And as has been projected, by 2025, the entire stretch between Delhi and Meerut will be covered. So within a period of about 6 years, we'll be completing the first of its kind, 100-kilometer stretch or 85-kilometer stretch. That's quite significant. There are also parallel initiatives going on in other stretches. So it's not that we are going to wait till 2025 before other stretches are unleashed on India. So it's a very major, significant step that has been taken.
Mr. Pawar also joins us at this point in time. Mr. Pawar, if you're there with us. Mr. Pawar? All right, there seems to be a problem with his connection. I'm going to go back to Mr. Tiwari now. Mr. Tiwari, well, the other good factor that is definitely going to be promoting this kind of an infrastructure in not only, the Delhi NCR region, but other regions as well, is obviously going to be that the energy which is required to run the RRTS, 40% of this energy is obviously going to be generated from renewable energy resources. Mr. Tiwari? Mr. Tiwari, are you there with us? That question was for you. Tiwari ji? Okay, perhaps not. Mr. Ramakrishna? Mr. Ramakrishna, sir, are you there with us?
Yeah, I am very much there. So I'll say I am right now in airport, so certainly it is a bit noisy here.
Sir, I can't use your video, sir. I'm sorry, sir. I can't use your video in the way we can see you right now. Let me, in fact, go to Mr. Ramakrishna. Mr. Ramakrishna TS?
No problem. So I'll...
Sir, okay. So, all right. All right, we've lost that connection. Mr. Tiwari, if you can hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm able to hear you. So I'll push on. So for another 2-3 minutes, I'll complete my views.
So we can't use your video. I apologize, sir. Mr. Pawar, I'll come to you, sir. Please answer my question. The renewable energy that is going to be utilized for the RRTS, how important is that?
See, now, if you really look at the entire global situation, when it comes to the renewable as well as sustainability, these two factors have been driven at large across the globe. For a country, or rather I would say a developing nation like Akhand Bharat, it is very important and super important aspect in order to generate this kind of energy, which will save on a lot of other fuel costs which are zooming up. Unfortunately, the Israel-Palestine conflict is also going to impact on the fuel costs. So such kind of initiatives which government of Bharat is taking are really good, and that will have the way Dr. Bhattacharya said, not only the real estate zoom up, but overall economical situation in terms of job employment, in terms of onwards logistic platforms, like from the railway station towards the required destination, in terms of cabs, in terms of buses, in terms of any other mode of transport, be it bikes or be it auto rickshaws. So those are important elements which will supplement with this kind of initiative. And at the end of the day, we are talking about the entire GDP saving. What we could look at it is going to be around 0.0078%. That would be a saving. So the number might look very bigger to us right now, but sooner or later, the more and more expansion which we will get into this zone, the more and more productive we'll have, and that will support our economy and GDP both.
Mr. Bhattacharya, the concept is also about achieving zero energy, net zero energy, which in fact is a concept that the Prime Minister has mentioned. He's been very, very passionate about it. And do you think that it's the revolution that he had envisaged, and this in a way is signaling the beginning of that revolution?
Absolutely, yes. Again, once the transportation is electrified, now the next challenge to ensure is that electricity is green electricity. Fortunately, India has been in the forefront, and in fact, we are one of the very few large economies which has actually been adhering to our global commitments for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions and moving towards a greener economy. And we have been adopting green energy at a very, very fast pace. By 2030, about 300 gigawatts of green energy will be produced. And that's what's going to drive transportation in India, both trains as well as electric vehicles. So clearly, we are on a path to become greener as we move forward. This also includes the train stations. The train stations are also a major guzzler of energy. So we are seeing very rapid movement towards adoption of solar for many of the train stations. In fact, the train stations themselves are getting covered by solar cells, and they are generating energy for the train station. So we are moving towards an era where we are kind of going to get almost free, clean energy. And why I'm saying free is because the solar cells will get depreciated over a period of time. And therefore, there will be a zero cost to the solar cells, and they'll simply be producing energy. And that's going to lead us to almost a utopian situation. And that's going to also help us in becoming a far more efficient economy, because the cost of transportation will go down if the cost of electricity and cost of energy comes down. So these are multiple reverberating effects that's going to happen. Obviously, as one of the panelists said, it's a small beginning of only 17 kilometers, but that's going to rapidly change. These are called demonstration effects. If you look at, as an example, how China became extremely urbanized, they started by taking a small 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer area in Beijing and transformed it into something very, very modern. And that was then replicated across all the cities in China. So one has to start with a demonstration effect, has to build the capabilities within both the railways as well as the society. People have to realign their transportation requirements around this new wave of transportation technologies which is being rolled out. And these things take time. And in spite of the fact that it's a complex process, we have still been able to execute this quite rapidly. And Indians have been very, very fast in the uptake of technology. So these are all very, very positive movements, including with the question that you started with, which is, will we have green transportation? I think this RRTS will be a basis for the local transportation or the regional transportation.
And Mr. Bhattacharya, just a passing thought. Do you think this is also going to be an opportunity for the common man, to participate in the green revolution? So far, people who want to contribute or reduce their carbon footprints, are the affluent class, who are able to, in fact, invest in green energy, buy cars that run on batteries. This is an opportunity for the common man. So this is perhaps also giving everyone an equal keel, so to speak.
That's a very important point you pointed out. Solar panels on top of your roof cost at least 1.5 to 2 lakhs. A electric vehicle costs double the cost of a regular IC engine vehicle. Here is where you still pay 20 rupees, 40 rupees as fare and be able to contribute to reduction in greenhouse gas effects as well as overall using clean green energy. So I think that's a very important point that you pointed, and it does create adoption of green energy as a mass movement. So people can now actively opt for it and take this. And on top of it, it's a very comfortable transportation. We are democratizing comfortable transportation, which was not the case earlier. I mean, if we go to the same stretch right now, there are dirty buses which is overfilled with people, and it's a very unhygienic way of transporting people. All of that is going to change with this means of transportation coming in.
Good points there. Let me, in fact, try and speak with Mr. Ramakrishna once again. Mr. Ramakrishnan, are you there with us, sir? Let's see if we can get to speak to you on this.
Fine. Yeah.
Right. All right. So,
Yeah.
so your thoughts on this availability of the RRTS to every common man, and how is this going to be contributing to a multitude of arenas and areas? Mr. Ramakrishnan.
Exactly. So, first of all, RRTS is qualitatively different from, are you able to hear me? So, RRTS is qualitatively different from the existing metro systems and suburban rail systems, as well as, other including bus transportation system. Because you are bringing two things into RRTS. One is the speed. The average speed is going to be 90 km/h. So the travel between Delhi and Meerut, which is going to happen in December 2024, that is what their target date is. And NCRT is very aggressive in achieving their target. So it is 1 hour, so very comfortable travel. At the same time, this is also going to bring down the carbon emissions and other things. You are saving a lot of time. So essentially, when the time is actually the critical thing in designing a transportation system. I'm using the words of travel time budget that was introduced by a World Bank economist in 1970. His name is Sahabi. So he says that people don't travel distance, they travel only time. So the more the speed is, people travel more the distance. So Meerut and Delhi becomes very close because of this RRTS. And we know about the congestion in Delhi and the air pollution and other air quality index that have been degrading the quality of life in Delhi. So when people are able to travel to regional cities like Meerut, Alwar, or for that matter, because there are going to be 7 corridors under RRTS. This is the first corridor, and as a first step, it is going to be 17 kilometers, and the 90 kilometer stretch will be completed by December 2024. So it is going to spread the population. It is going to give economic opportunity to people who are almost 200 kilometers away from Delhi. Still, they will be able to avail the opportunity without congesting Delhi, without creating trouble for Delhi. And the travel between Delhi and Meerut with this single route alone will become extremely comfortable because you create two types of.
All right. Mr. Ramakrishnan, appreciate you joining us. Would also like to thank all our other guests for being a part of this important conversation. It's a big day and it's a big movement of sorts that is, of course, in all likelihood, in a very pervasive manner, going to benefit the common man as well.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.